Hello and welcome to Raising Those Spirits. I'm Steve,
And I'm Sam.
and I think we just missed an episode again. I apologize. I had
Uh,
a back to school night fell on our recording night, and it was my first one. I felt like I should go.
oh yeah, no, it's important to get to those back to school nights. It makes me feel really big, like a really, really big man when I go and I sit in like the desk intended for a kindergartner or first grader. Like
Yeah,
I am huge. I am huge compared to the children who are in this classroom. It makes you feel mighty, so it's very important to get to to back to school nights.
mighty was absolutely the word I was thinking in my head when you were describing that. So,
I have all the power here. I'm a giant man sitting at a child's desk, hearing about what my kid's teacher is going to do. And then, yeah, it's always a good experience. So no, it was a good call to skip out on recording so you could go to back to school night.
yeah, yeah, apparently he's already very popular. So, I got to meet a lot more teachers than I expected to.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I would have never doubted that. Never
He's just
doubted
a
it for a
happy little
second.
talker. He's not like they're just like he's never a problem, and I think that's the nicest thing I can say about any child.
That's a
And it's
huge
like okay,
compliment. Like your
that's a huge
child is not a
compliment.
problem. Because they wouldn't, like you have to imagine anybody who didn't hear that. That means their kid is a problem.
Yes.
So, all the
Yeah.
parents who are listening, please know that if the teacher doesn't say specifically that your child is not a problem, they definitely are.
When my son was born, he was one of the rare babies that just came out kind of good looking, not just like a gremlin. And we had a cool nurse, and she was like, "Look, we tell everyone their baby is beautiful, but this kid is actually beautiful." And I was just
Oh, you
like,
love hearing that from a nurse.
"Yeah, I shouldn't care about that. It is 1 day old." But no, it's weird little things like that when you're a parent.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a coworker of mine who was, I think, a week away from their due date, and I was just telling them about like, that first month home with the baby and just how it is an insane period of time. And then, I'm looking back on that now from, 8 years ago. My daughter's in third grade now, and just realizing, like, oh wow, things have changed so rapidly. So rapidly in the 8 years you're dealing with so many different things. I was saying, which is also why I spent most of my weekend cleaning, because there's just you move one box. I moved like a box, and then I found a whole bunch of stash of stuff from when my kid was like little, like bath toys and stuff. And I was like, oh, I stuck these here 4 years ago, and then completely forgot about them into the trash.
I yeah, I can completely relate to that. Okay, so you've got the
Oh, shall
cryptid.
we get into? I do. It's South Carolina. We're up to the S's this week.
I'm proud of
And
us.
I picked. Yeah, I'm proud of us for sticking with this premise for such a long time. Uh, so in South Carolina, I picked the Lizard Man of Scrape or Swamp. I think that's how it's pronounced. Which is it's a relatively recent cryptid. I say that originally reported in 1987. So in the scale of cryptids, a recent one, but in the scale of reality, close to 40 years ago. So it was originally reported in 1987. The first big reporting of it that got some attention came a year later in 1988. A fellow by the name of Christopher Davis, 17 years old, said he was driving home and he was attacked by the lizard man of Escape or Swamp. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Which is described as about being 7 feet tall, covered in scales, pretty much humanoid, other than the fact that it's a giant and covered in scales. It has 3 fingers and 3 toes, and it wrecked his car. And he maintained that his car was in fact wrecked by a giant lizard person. And over the course of the next several months, there was a few other credible sightings of this lizard person by other people in the community, which led the sheriff to believe that something was going on. Although I think they believed at the time it was probably a bear and not a lizard person. Uh, it did drive up tourism in the area, and there have been sightings of the lizard man of Skateboard Swamp as recently as 2011. But Steve, what do you think if you were to hear from a 17-year-old young man that his car was wrecked by a lizard person? What would you think happened there?
Barring the notion that they
What would you think if you, let's say you're the parent of a 17-year-old young man, and he came home telling you that his car was wrecked by a lizard person? How would you
okay,
respond to that?
barring the possibility that he is now the protagonist in an R.L. Stein novel, um, because you've always got to leave a little bit of that possibility. I would assume he effed up
Sure,
pretty
it's possible.
bad.
Yeah, I
And
mean that's what I think too.
it's like, oh, you just done messed up, and you're like, I'll go so big, they'll be like, no one would be stupid enough to make that up, and just hope.
Dad, it was a lizard person wrecked my car. And it's a
Uh,
bold move.
it
It is
is
a
a
bold move.
very. I love it. I
I
mean,
wish.
or it,
No, I wish I
it.
had thought of that when I was a kid and did dumb shit. I wish I would have been like, Dad, it was a lizard person. I swear.
It's one of the rare times where I'm like, that actually might have been a bear with mange, because that's what they always say it was. But like, the you get like the skins get scaly and stuff, like you get the shingles. It's
I'm sure they'd probably be about 7 feet tall. Yeah, like a
yeah,
bear on its hind legs and no
no
fur.
fur and a
Yeah, I
weird skin
believe that.
disease.
Yeah, that could be mistaken for a lizard person.
Yeah, because
I
you
don't know.
see
Maybe
that.
Christopher Davis wasn't lying. Maybe it was a giant. Maybe it was a sick bear.
Maybe he pissed off a sick bear, which also sounds like something a 17-year-old would do.
Sure. It's
And
like, oh well, I saw this bear and I poked it. I poked it until it wrecked my car.
oh man, well, the R.L. Stein theory also has some weight, though, because there were other credible sightings, and those are the sequels.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like the next one has like three lizard people. There's a whole lizard family. It's
Exactly.
not just lizard men. And I mean, like even the name of it, like the full name, the Lizard Man of Skateboard Swamp.
Hmm.
That sounds like a goosebump. That sounds like a goosebump story. So no, let's give
It,
Christopher the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's an old man now. Whenever he's sticking to his story, we'd have to go look up Christopher Davis of the skateboard swamp area in South Carolina. See if he's sticking with it. Sometimes people recant their stories after many years.
man, I would love. We aren't going to do this, but I would love to just veer into this for a little bit, like we did when we used to write for the cryptids we invented, and
Oh
just
yeah,
like do an entire like R.L. Stein novella based on this, and just make our own goosebumps and see how it goes. But that would be, while fun, a giant diversion.
that's true.
And I don't want R.L. Stein to end up on the podcast because we're announcing that we're being sued by R.L. Stein.
I feel like we could come to some kind of agreement. He seems like a cool guy.
It's like, this is parody. We haven't made a dime on this.
It's like we are not successful, sir.
Sir, is it stealing if there was no value lost or made?
No, it's just a waste of time and
Yeah.
effort. Honestly, now if we have fun, it's never a waste. What are you drinking, Steve?
I oh god, I have a really quick one before we get to there.
Oh, okay, good.
I watched a horror movie that I'm pretty late on getting to. Um, but it was Heretic. Have you seen Heretic yet?
No, I haven't seen Heretic.
Phenomenal movie. I will say it is much more a thriller than a horror. Um, but Hugh Grant is just absolutely amazing in it. The director of the movie, as I was like reading reviews about it, they were like, "Yeah, he's like the R.L. Stein of horror movies," and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And I clicked in, and he's one of the white kids you know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. And so I just felt like, since this is, mainly a millennial themed podcast, dropping in some whitest kids you know would be fine. But yeah, no, apparently, I think it's Zach he did the TV show Wrecked, is now directing and is just doing horror movies.
All right.
Yeah. And so that's my spooky
Pretty
news for
wild.
you. I find out something
I like that.
spooky, and now what we're drinking. I'm drinking tea, Sam, because
Oh my
I have a little
goodness.
bit of a scratchy throat.
So what type of tea? Lipton?
Oh, no. I do Tension Tamer by
Ooh.
Celestial Seasonings. It is my jam.
Ooh, that sounds good.
My
Nice.
store was actually out of it for 3 weeks, and I was like literally shopping for it online. It is part of my daily routine.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had peppermint for
Oh,
like 3 nights in a row, and I was like, that's not doing it. So, what about
well,
you?
I just grabbed this out of the fridge. This is a Tint Meadow English Trappist Ale. Strong ale brewed by the monks of Mount St. Bernard Abbey in Charnwood Forest in England, London, England, where Mary Shelley is from. And as we all know, we're doing a Frankenstein tale tonight. Although this is not from anywhere near where she's from. But I bought it when I was picking up my fall brews, like my Oktoberfests and my pumpkin ale. But I'm just popping this for the first time now. Ooh, you hear that? So let's see how this is. I'm gonna taste it right now, live on air. Oh, that's dark. Oh, that tastes like a fall evening. It's really good. It's really good. It's 7.4% alcohol by volume. So we'll see how I'm doing by the end of this podcast if I drink the whole thing. Because I had like one porter the other night. I was at my sister's house and I was like, yeah, I want a beer. And I had a beer. And it was the first time I'd had a drink in probably, I don't know, maybe a week or two. And I was a little bit drunk. I ended up ordering myself a theremin on Amazon. Uh, so yeah, can't hold my booze. And now I'm buying obscure instruments.
How are you enjoying the theremin?
It's a fun little thing. I got it. It was used. It was like $35. It's smaller than a cell phone. It's just like a little cheap one. And I was gonna play a prank on you at the top of this episode where I pretended like there was audio interference from aliens or something because it sounds like alien music.
But then we
And
had
I
real
decided not
audio
to.
issues.
We had actual audio issues, so it was a good thing that I didn't do it because I was like, well, that would just be annoying.
It just was one more thing on top of it. It's like an episode
Yeah,
of
I didn't want
House,
to.
but for me, trying to figure out why the soundboard isn't working.
But yeah, for like $30, I got like this $35. This little tiny theremin. I'm gonna bring it to work and like annoy my coworkers because I'm not professional.
I got
Oh, you did.
delivered today from Amazon when I was apparently in it a swing for the backyard, but instead of being like a front backswing, it goes side to side and you stand on it like a skateboard.
Oh, okay. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, good job, Steve. This is going to be fun.
You know, it's always fun when something shows up in the mail. It's like, oh, why did it order this? It's like, oh, because it's awesome. I was really prepared the theremin to like not work and me have to go return it. Um, but it did.
Oh
So
my
I like your
God.
swing.
I just got a new chair for my office because mine is just falling apart. And the right arm of my new chair came snapped in half.
That
And
sucks.
I was just like, and they were the hoops I had to jump through to even get them to acknowledge that I still don't have an arm. They say it's finally shipped, but I've had this chair for like 2 weeks. It uh, it was a crazy ride.
Yeah.
So I feel you. I feel the pain of really being worried you're gonna have to try and return this.
Yeah. No, because I mean that's usually how it goes. You get something from Amazon and then it's just garbage.
And then they're like, "Oh, do you can just like you want to return it?" And I'm like, "I just put 95% of this chair together. All I had to do was attach the arm.
It's like I need one last thing.
I
Just
am
send me
not
that.
dismantling it and repackaging it." So, we did
All right,
Frankenweenie.
we did Frankenweenie.
Sam, I hated this movie.
You're kidding me. Why did you hate this movie?
At the 37-minute mark, my family unanimously looked at each other at the same time and were like, is anyone watching this? And then we turned it off.
Oh my goodness.
That is my review of Frankenweenie.
Would you dislike it or did you find it boring?
Both.
Oh, I like this movie. I thought this movie was cute.
It, I feel it's, to use the new words, it's so try hard in my
Okay.
mind. Like, it feels like it's trying to be an homage to, like, old silver screen horror movies, but
Hmm.
I feel like every single one was, like, too on the nose. Like, almost like Uncanny Valley. I'm like, it doesn't feel genuine.
All right. I mean, like, if I had a criticism, I mean, like, there's plenty to criticize in any movie. If I had a criticism of this movie, I would say that it comes from a point in Tim Burton's career where there probably weren't a lot of people telling him no, and Tim
This
Burton
is
kind of just was doing what he wanted to do.
This is the first movie he directed by himself, which might be why I hated it, because he didn't have someone to rein him in.
Yeah. No, I would say this is Tim Burton at his Tim Burtoniest. It was certainly, in the sense that it was a nostalgia trip, like you often see from him. Very much his animation style when he's doing animation. Um, Largely homage to the older classic horror movies. But yeah, probably at a point where there wasn't anybody really telling him no. Uh, which I think could work to his detriment. But I like the. I mean, like I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a dog owner and the dog reminds me of my dog. But I enjoy the cute critter and the cute critters in this movie.
I liked the bones. Like, I liked like how he was making like the old-fashioned horror movies and stuff like that, and the black and white feel and the aesthetic. Like, I liked everything they were going for. I just didn't like the way any of it was executed. But I'm not a Burton
Okay.
fan. So, but I did go into this with a fully open mind because I really like the studio. I really like Paranorman. Like, There are things
there's a
here.
lot of people.
And like I love like it's Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder and Martin Short. Like it has a good cast. I want to like this. Like Tim Burton isn't immediately going to make me not like this, but I think Tim Burton is making me not like this just on the grounds that I'm not. We don't understand each other.
Okay, let's explore
Like,
that a little. You and Tim Burton don't understand
well,
each other.
like if he was like part of a mutual friend group, we would be those two that like are fine out with everyone, but we have never ever once hung out on our own. I don't even know if we've ever texted on our own. Like,
Okay, so it's like you end up in a situation where you're Tim Burton's ride to the party because it made sense. You live near Tim Burton. He needed a lift. You had an extra spot in your car. It just ends up being you and him.
yeah,
And now suddenly you're realizing, even though you've known each other for years, you've never really held a conversation. You don't really know anything about, you know his vibe, but you don't know anything about him personally. You don't find
yeah,
a place to connect.
yeah.
And then it'd be
So,
one of those really awkward conversations where you're like realizing how little you know about each other.
yeah, and we should get along. Like, theoretically, on paper, like, this is good, but sometimes you just don't vibe with someone, and I don't vibe with Tim Burton.
Wow. There were
Okay,
definitely points in this movie where I thought like, oh, it would have benefited from somebody reining him in a little, or not a little, maybe a lot, with some of the very like the stranger characters, like the little girl with like the psychic cat poop. That was a bit.
yes. Yeah, the teacher with the really long face. I liked the Edward goriness of it all. This is like it seemed so Edward Gorey inspired, but again, it seemed like too Edward Gorey inspired. It was like you told AI to do an Edgar like Gorey. So
That was Martin Landau in that role, another amazing actor.
oh yeah, why do we know Martin Landau, Sam? Like I saw his name pop up and I was like, "Oh, Martin Landau." Then I saw his face and I was like, "Yeah, Martin Landau." And then I went through his IMDb and I was like, "Who the fuck is Martin Landau?" I know like his famous like Ed Wood stuff, but like as a human being, why do I know him? Like we didn't grow up with
Uh,
him.
I think he was a face that was on television for a long time. He was in a lot of things. Um, Probably, I think he was best known initially from Mission Impossible. I think it was one of his first big things
Yeah,
a
but I
long, long
never
time.
watched it, so I wouldn't know him from that.
You know, it's funny. You know, I couldn't tell you what I mean. Like, I love Ed Wood, the movie, which again is another Tim Burton joint. Um, no, I guess I couldn't tell you what I knew him from. I feel like I know him through osmosis. I'm looking through his IMDb now too. Um, he
This
did a
is
great episode of Columbo.
this is the exact conversation that Petra and I had, which is really nice because it makes me feel less crazy. Because I was just like, was he on TV all the time? And apparently, yes. Because, I mean, even Petra, who is pretty like the 90s, she was blind to all pop culture. So, like, even she was like, "No, I know who Martin Landau is," and then she was like, "Why?" So
But yeah, I mean, he was on TV a lot. Or he was just yeah, I'd say he was on TV a lot for a lot of different things. But I like him in this. I like everybody in this. I enjoy this movie. Um,
I will say I'm also not big into body horror, and Tim Burton is big into body horror. Like there's like a whole scene where the dog keeps eating a fly and it like flies out of the stitching in its neck and then the dog chases the fly again. Like, it's not my horror jam.
Just a little off-putting.
Yeah. So what do you like about this? You sell me this movie.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to try and convince you to like something that you don't like.
Well, tell me about
But
the 50 minutes
why
I
do
didn't
I like it?
watch.
Oh, okay. So what point did you turn it off?
Frankenweenie had come back and left, had like a big day on the town, and then come back, and I think that was about it.
Okay, so he's back from the dead at this point. So the rest of the movie is they have the big science fair coming up at their school. A couple of
Oh,
kids have. Mhm.
yeah, that's where I left off. He was getting blackmailed into being this kid's partner, and we were like, "Who's enjoying this?"
So the rest of the weird little kids in the town got wise to the fact that Victor, our lead, has resurrected his dead dog using the power of electricity, and everybody else wants in. So we already have Igor, who has his invisible fish, which turns out doesn't last as long as he thinks it's going to. The invisible fish sort of just dissipates at some point. Then we have the rest of the kids who all have dead, most of them have dead pets, who decide they're going to try and bring their pets back. So it's the night before the science fair is the big town festival, and our strange little characters all do experiments basically on their pets. And what we end up with is one kid has a mummified hamster. We end up with a kaiju sized turtle. We end up with a bunch of gremlin like sea monkeys. And we end up with a rat monster. And the strange girl's cat gets mixed with a bat. She ends up with like a cat bat monster. And they go on a rampage into the town festival, um, where Victor has to employ a couple of different methods in which to dispatch and re-kill all of these monsters, basically. Uh,
Horrifying.
but during the course of the fight, um, when Sparky, the Frankenweenie, is going toe to toe with the cat bat, they end up in a windmill because everything is very Dutch. Because it's like a very Dutch town. I forget the name of the town.
New
The
Holland.
windmill. New Holland. So yes, very very Dutch. The windmill catches on fire with Sparky inside, and we think that, and it collapses. Sparky has died again, and Victor, now with the help of everybody in town, who realized that Sparky wasn't a monster, he was just a sweet little dog who happened to be undead. They hook him all up to their car batteries and bring Sparky back to life again. And then Victor lives happily ever after with his zombified dog. That's kind of the quick version of the rest of the film.
Why is the cat the bad guy?
Oh, because they're monstified. Basically, when all of the other pets become monsters, they start acting monstrously. So the thing you ended up missing, kind of the big um, showcase of the movie. That's not the word I'm looking for. Maybe the climax in the movie is all of these monsters descending on the town festival. And you get to see them run amok in homage to various classic horror films.
Cool. I mean,
Yeah,
not
no,
cool
I
enough
mean
to make me
like,
go watch it, but
but no, I like the vibes of this one. I was impressed that Tim Burton, again, being in a situation where people aren't really telling him no, was able to do an animated feature entirely in black and white. Uh, it's not too scary. It's one that it's a typical watch around Halloween in my house. It's one that my daughter enjoys. Um, I will admit it is not super engaging. I think it has to do with maybe the more subdued take that Burton is doing here. Everybody kind of talks in a whisper and is kind of quiet and very slight. So there are times when the movie isn't particularly engaging, and I think that's the problem you're describing.
yeah, and like it was going. That's the vibe it was going for. It's very like Night of the Living Dead, classic old 1950s black and white. But it just you gotta hook me with something else, and he just doesn't. And I wanted to like this one because again, I really like Paranorman and stuff, and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, give me more of that fun stuff. Coraline, Paranorman, blah blah blah. I've been really enjoying this series. Maybe this is my thing. No, this isn't me and Tim's thing.
Okay, so I mean, yeah. So what I'm getting from that is the general quiet nature of this movie and the awkward vibe. I would call it more awkward because it's not like outwardly weird or anything. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously some of the is weird, but everybody has kind of an awkwardness to them, and an uncomfortableness,
you
and
know that's a
everybody
good
talk.
observation.
Yeah. But I would say if you did want to check out the big climactic fight towards the end of the movie, I think there is really some great animation with the monsters. Obviously, coming from Tim Burton, it's going to be very reminiscent of what you see in uh, Nightmare Before Christmas, um, just with the creature design. I also end up watching Corpse Bride, which was another one of his. Um, I think that's probably a bit more engaging, but I would imagine it's also something you wouldn't care for. If you didn't care for this, I don't think you'd care for Corpse Bride either.
I mean, we still got
So
to cover it
I won't
eventually.
see this eventually do it. Well, I mean, like, yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm happy to cover it. I thought it was. I think Corpse Bride is a bit more engaging than this is. Um, but there's a lot of similarities, I think, in the overall tone. But Corpse Bride has musical numbers and things like that, so maybe it's a bit more jangly, more exciting.
We'll see. Like, give me a few weeks, but we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll give it a break. We'll give it a little Tim Burton break. I still haven't seen Beetlejuice.
Neither have I. I have it now. I just haven't watched it.
Did you watch? Have you watched Wednesday at all? I haven't seen that yet.
No, I again it's been high on the list for a while, and then it kind of blew up, and because I was really hyped about it before it came out, and then it blew up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for the hype to kind of die down a little bit so that I don't go in with like unmanaged expectations. And it just didn't really cool down, so now I'm just late to the party.
That'll happen.
Stranger
Yeah, but
Things
he has.
season 5 is coming out, Sam. You can finally start it and watch the whole thing.
I want because I did watch. I think the first maybe two seasons. I think I watched the first three seasons of Stranger Things, but that was such a long time ago now. They're not children anymore. I don't get how they've waited this long between seasons. It's
Well, they did a big time jump.
yeah. Well, I mean, they'd have to. I mean, it's impossible not to. Um,
Yeah.
because I was listening to somebody else talk about um, Stranger Things and how the episodes in the latest season are something like 90 minutes each, some of them even longer. And how if you
Yes.
want to do like a rewatch to get like, because like I certainly like if I had even watched the more recent seasons of Stranger Things, I wouldn't remember them at this point. It's been too many years. You have to do a rewatch, and that's like a big time commitment.
I will say, if memory serves, it was 90-minute episodes, but instead of doing 10 episodes, they only did 6.
Well, it's like still like six movies. That's like
Oh,
like
I'm just
six
saying,
movies.
if you build out that time, it comes out to about 10 episodes.
I suppose if you do like you could do like one episode a week, treat it like an old the way TV shows used to work, and then like just rewatch the whole series over the course of a couple of months.
Well, Netflix is usually pretty good about doing season recaps for their shows.
Mm.
So I was actually talking to Petra about this earlier. I was like, thank God I know there are season recaps for each season, and they're like 10 minutes long. But I'd rather spend 40 minutes getting caught back up than, 40 episodes. And I'm really hoping, since it's been so long, they actually make like here, how we got here one. It's like just seriously make us one that is, hey, this hasn't been out for 6 years. This is going to bring you back up to speed. It's 30 minutes long.
Sure, because I mean like that's like longer than the amount of time between like a movie and a sequel. Like that's the amount of time that you would expect like an entire movie trilogy to run.
My
So
son was not
they're not.
alive when the last season came out. He's in elementary school now.
That's impossible. No, I mean like I believe you. It's just shocking to hear. No, I'm like looking at a cast, but now I'm looking at cast photos of Stranger Things, also starring Winona Ryder, who was in Frankenweenie. And yeah, they're not children. I mean, like Millie Bobby Brown is a kid now.
This is, I think, we at least talked about this 2 weeks ago. I don't know if we talked about
Oh,
it
we
last
did.
week. Several of these conversations we've actually, like, you've given us updates on your friend who's having a kid for several episodes now. We're all following with bated breath.
Oh man, it's my fault
We
for not re-listening to episodes before we record.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's just like, oh, we,
Little stories.
you get to, like, take a little ride with us. You got anything else
Well,
for,
no, I would say I like this. I think if you like Tim Burton and you enjoy the classic horror, there's a lot to enjoy about this. But if you're not a Tim Burton fan, I'd go the Steve route and just not watch it at all.
all right. Thank you for joining us as always. I'm Steve,
Sam.
and we'll see you next time.
I
Night.